now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
Every holiday has foods so special. I'd like to have that same attention too. I do not want to spend life in this blender, wondering what I am supposed to do. What is going on, everybody? Thank you very much for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade J.J. Williams, thanking each and every one of you for coming back once again and joining me here in the theater. And as a lot of you guys know by now, I've been doing a bit of a soft reopening for Renegades Reviews ahead of the big relaunch next year on the first of the year. And while there's no shortage of Christmas movies each and every year, thanks to Netflix originals and the Lifetime and Hallmark channels, there are very few Hanukkah films. However, I did some digging and I found 8 different Hanukkah movies that we'll be discussing throughout the 8 nights of the celebration. So tonight, as the sun goes down on the 3rd night of the Festival of Lights, allow me to discuss Hanukkah on Rye. Released on December 18th, 2022, Hanukkah on Rye was a Hallmark original movie directed by Peter DeLuise. It stars Yale Grobglas, and I hope I pronounced that right, Jeremy Jordan, Linda Darlow, Paula Shaw, Lisa Horner, David Eisner, Linda E. Smith, Sam Rosenthal, and it even features a cameo from Lisa Loeb. As our movie opens, Molly Gilbert, played by Yale Grobglas, and again, I hope I pronounced your name right, is the heir apparent to Gilbert's Deli in New York City's Lower East Side. You see, Gilbert's is a classic Jewish delicatessen that, to their detriment, refuses to stray from tradition, even as their business is beginning to fail after 100 years. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, California, Jacob Zimmer, played by Jeremy Jordan, is getting marching orders from his grandmother, Esther, played by Paula Shaw, as they prepare to open up a Zimmer's location in New York City's Lower East Side. Now, unlike Gilbert's, Zimmer's business is booming, thanks to a menu that mirrors America as a melting pot, with dishes like fajitas and fettuccine alfredo. And Esther is determined, for reasons that we'll find out later, to open up her second location just down the street from Gilbert's. Jacob goes to New York, where he ends up subletting a building where Molly just so happens to live. And instead of meeting her and immediately having a quarrel about their competing businesses and about the wild coincidence that the two Jewish deli proprietors are living in the same building, Jacob keeps mum about his purpose in New York. Meanwhile, both Molly and Jacob's grandmothers, who are anxious about their grandchildren's lack of kids, decide to sign them up for an old-school matchmaking service ran by Mrs. Mizanski, played by Angela Narth, who is a successful matchmaker based in Brooklyn. Ms. Mizanski's method is to have the couple write letters to each other using the pseudonyms Beth and David. That way they don't know each other's true identity. The two agree to do this out of love for their bubbies, despite their repeated protests against dating. Over a couple of days, they begin to cultivate a friendship without knowing that they are also corresponding with each other at the same time. Their budding relationship eventually hits a road bump, though, when Molly learns that Jacob is in New York to effectively go into competition with her family. Now, despite being released in 2022, this film was a new one for me, and if I'm being honest, keeping it 100 with my fans, the only Hanukkah movie I'd ever seen prior to watching these films that I'm reviewing for the 8 nights was the Adam Sandler animated film, 8 Crazy Nights, which is how we'll end our Hanukkah holiday. Now, those of you that have tuned in for all these reviews have heard me discuss on multiple occasions how holiday movies get held to a different standard, why that is, how they're formulaic, even more so than a traditional rom-com, how for me they come down to, was I entertained? I think each and every one of us can admit, if we look deep down inside of us, that the plots are often void of any depth because they want you to believe in the impossible, believe in miracles. In the rare case where a holiday movie script does possess depth, then you've found a true gem. This film does not possess that kind of depth, but it doesn't prevent it from being an enjoyable film. I felt like there was a solid chemistry between Molly and Jacob, which made you root for them. You could tell that Jacob didn't really want to do what he was there to do. And it's always fun when you can tell that the main characters are falling for each other long before they realize it. I feel it gives off a certain charm and adorability factor. Do you agree? At the end of the day, this was basically a Hanukkah version of The Shop Around the Corner or You Got Mail. But that doesn't make it bad by any means. Instead, I believe it provides a comfort factor because you know the base story, you know what's going to happen, you know everything's going to work out all right. When it comes to my rating, I gave this one a solid 3 stars. But enough about my thoughts. What do you guys think of Hanukkah on Rye? Have you seen it? Let me know. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that discourse, those interactions, those engagements that I'm always trying to get out of you, my loyal viewers. Until next time, when we come and convene once again here in the theater for another brand new episode of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here on the Casa D18 Studios YouTube channel. I have been your host, the Renegade J.J. Williams, thanking each and every one of you for tuning in and joining me, and I will catch you all next time.